There's also, frankly, what we're dealing with, obviously, is irrational, right? We're dealing with irrational fears, and we're not dealing with a tool like whatever this thing is. We're not dealing with a step function. We're dealing with a revolution in the way we do things. But remember, technology has traditionally been a crutch. How many of you know what this is? Do you know why it was invented? No, I don't either. I was trying to explain it to my 9-year-old son. What is this thing, Dad? I said, well, it's obvious. I mean, you've got a paper document that you created on a computer, and you print it out on paper, and you want to send it someplace far away, so you take the paper and you stick it in this machine, and it uses the 1970s telephone technology to turn it into sound, and it just sends it on the wires, and then on the other end, there's another machine just like it, and it turns it all back into paper again, so that you can turn around and enter all the information into a computer. It's pretty... never mind. Show me that video game that you're playing. I'll learn more about that. But remember, this is a crutch. This is a step function, right? Technology's always been like that. This thing is obsolete, right? But so too is this. But this thing was a precursor to it. And you know what? By the way, what's the keyboard on this thing called? QWERTY keyboard. Do you know why the keys are like they are? No, not to slow it down. That myth has been debunked. Yeah, well, definitely there was clogging problems with the keys and stuff like that. But that was actually a side benefit. The reason that we have the QWERTY keyboard versus an alphabetical keyboard was because the keyboard was built with the input of this guy, who was the first people to use it, is a telegraph operator. That's right. The typewriter actually has its basis in a telegraph. Morse code. It was Morse code that actually drove the QWERTY keyboard. And why do we have Morse code? Well, because we're trying to basically emulate a paper process. Why do we have a paper process? Well, I can go on and on. You know, this is technology goes in step functions, right? And we have an evolution of e-signature. But this is a revolution that we're talking about, and people aren't comfortable with it. So we got to help them. We got to help them through, right? Resistance is still out there. You've got your government regulators. You got your third-party downstream guys that are asking questions about it. You got your internal stakeholders that are afraid of losing their jobs, and you got dumb shits, you know. And we have to deal with them all the time. I chose these 3 terms at the end because this is what my daughter calls me on various occasions. But, you know, no one said it's easy to change the world, but that's what we're doing.